Greetings everyone, and I hope you and your collections are fit and well and growing by the day. Welcome back to the channel for another quarter scale statue unboxing and review, and today we're going to be taking a look, an up-close look, at none other than Professor Van Helsing himself, aka Peter Cushing, the most famous of all vampire hunters, as he appears in the 1958 Hammer production of Dracula, directed by Terence Fisher. This quarter-scale statue is brought to us by Sideshow Collectibles. The review will take the usual format. We'll have a quick look at the box, and a big box it is too. Then we'll be over to the table for a close-up look at Dracula's nemesis. Then we'll be wrapping the whole thing up with the usual showcase at the end and reintroducing Van Helsing to the Prince of Darkness himself. But before we get into the box, the usual roundup of shout-outs and a bit of background. As always, a massive thank you to everyone who's subscribed to the channel. Each and every one of you, genuinely inspiring. Thank you so much. And to all of you out there who are watching the channel and not subscribing, and I know there's a lot of you, please turn that view into a like, a share, a comment, and most importantly, a subscribe. You'll be making an old man very happy, and most importantly, you'll be helping Go Figure to keep doing what we're doing. So, background. As regulars to my channel will know, I am a huge fan of everything horror, and the combination of Christopher Lee's Dracula, Peter Cushing's Van Helsing, and Hammer horror hold a very special place in my heart. I grew up with the Hammer horror movies. In my opinion, there's only ever been two Draculas. That's Lugosi and Lee, and there's only ever been one Van Helsing, and that's Mr. Cushing himself. So, Sideshow produced two quarter-scale statues, one of Lee, one of Cushing, from Hammer's first Dracula outing in '58. And as regulars to my channel will also know, that the main focus of my collection is 1/6 scale figures, although I do have an awful lot of statues and quarter-scale stuff. And ever since I started collecting, I've waited patiently for Dracula and Van Helsing to be done the way I wanted to see them in 1/6 scale. Now, I know a few companies out there had tried, but they never quite seemed to do the characters justice. So I'd resigned myself to the fact that it would never happen, at least in 1/6 scale anyway. Then about a year ago, Sideshow announced that they were doing the two 1/4 scale statues, and I thought, well, if I can't have them in 6 scale, then I'll have to settle for quarter scale. It will have to do to quench my Dracula thirst. So I got the Dracula statue on its release, and very good it is too, and there will be a review coming up on the channel for that, so stay tuned. And I had every intention of picking up the Van Helsing statue on its release to complete the pair, but then a huge dilemma presented itself in the shape of caustic plastic. In the time between statues, they announced they'd be doing Lee and Cushing from the horror of Dracula in 1/6 scale. Now, regulars to my channel will also know my feelings on caustic plastic, but for those of you who don't, they are quite simply, in my opinion, one of the best, if not the best, 6 scale figure manufacturers around at the moment, and I have loads of their pieces in my collection. So pre-ordering the deluxe set was a no-brainer, and they'll be going in front of the camera just as soon as they arrive, which I believe is pretty soon. But then I was left with a huge dilemma. Do I pass on the Sideshow Van Helsing? Well, my OCD wasn't about to let me stare at a quarter-scale Dracula without having his nemesis next to him, so here's the result. I got mine from Statuesque, a UK-based company, and there'll be a link to their website in the description below. But that's enough of my vampire ramblings and collecting dilemmas. Let's take a look at this box. So hang up your opera cape, take a seat in your favourite coffin, grab a goblet of O positive, and let's take a look at this big box. Now, it's difficult getting all this in shot. We've had to do this in front of the details, but we'll try and manhandle this so you can get a good idea of what we're looking at here. The front is very, very simple. You've got, it's just all black. You've got this rather nice red foil lettering across the centre here saying Van Helsing. Sideshow Premium format in the bottom left-hand corner. Hammer a logo in the bottom right-hand corner. We will try and bring this thing round, which will be no mean feat, but we'll bring it round to this side. Now on the left-hand side, and I do like this packaging, the way it's been done. The front being completely plain, but the sides having the images. So what you've got on the side here are a number of shots from the '58 Dracula movie itself. There's a shot of Peter Cushing there. You've got Don't Dare See It Alone in that red foil lettering written across the top there. Sideshow at the bottom. You've got red foil blood spatter across the top there. Another shot of Peter Cushing. We'll check the other side, and I believe that sort of design aesthetic is continued on this side as well. Yeah. So what we've got on here, another 3 shots from the film itself. So it's Peter Cushing across the top here. You've got the movie blurred there with the stars' names. Another shot of Peter Cushing, shot of Lee and Cushing together. Lee staking somebody in the coffin there. And once again, these blood spatters in this really nice red foil red foil design here, and sideshow at the bottom again. So we'll bring it round to the back. Very simple on the back, just one shot, vignetted, of Peter Cushing himself. I really like this. This looks so impressive. It's not overdone. It says class to me. It's not splattered with imagery. Just one simple shot of him holding the crucifix, vignetted with sideshow at the bottom there. So yeah, there you have it. We'll try and actually take a look at the top of the box, because this box has also got, if I can get this into shot without dropping it, on top as well, we have these some more shots as well, and Van Helsing once again in that red foil lettering. So yeah, very nice packaging. This is a brand new statue. It literally just arrived and has gone straight under the camera. Very impressed with how it's presented. Very similar to the packaging that the Christopher Lee statue came in. As we always do, we will crack the seals on this box. We'll get the guy out. We'll go over to the table and have a look at the details and everything that's included. Okay, so that's the unboxing, happening relatively glitch-free. So I thought what we'd do is we'd take a look at all the individual pieces first. There are only 5 pieces to this statue. Take a look at each one up close, and then we'll cut to it fully constructed for our final thoughts and wrapping the whole thing up. So yeah, we'll start with this, the base for this statue. This is exactly the same, I believe, as the base that comes with the Christopher Lee statue itself. So we'll put this paper to one side and take a look at it. We'll just move this out of the way so we can get a close-up look at this. So yeah, what have we got going on here? So polystone, I believe. It feels like this might be hollow. I think if it was solid polystone, it would weigh a hell of a lot more. It's still got an awful lot of weight to it, but yeah, pretty much exactly the same as the Christopher Lee statue, as I mentioned. So let's take a look at the bottom here. So what have we got on the bottom? We've got 4 felt feet, well, rubber pads actually, which is good to see, minimise risk of movement. We've got the sideshow sticker on the bottom here. Well, I don't think, is it actually a sticker? Now, I believe that is, it is a sticker, but it's, well, it's more like a sheet of plastic actually that's been glued to the bottom. What you've got on here is this sort of red cracked effect. It says Van Helsing on there, premium format. The number, obviously it's a limited run. This is 538 out of 750. Sideshow logo at the top there. We've got a hammer and a stake, which is nice to see, and then the hammer details at the bottom there, and the dates and so on. So yeah, that's nicely presented on the bottom there. We'll bring this thing round, and it's got some size to it, obviously, with it being quarter scale. So what are we looking at? Essentially, you've got this sort of Gothic architecture stroke platform. You've got these gargoyles around the side here, nicely sculpted. You've got this pretty much variations on a theme of grey to give it that sort of grey stone look. There's some nice washes in there to pick out the detailings. These gargoyles' faces, if I can get them into shot, are very nice. Overall, yeah, very, very well done. I was impressed with the Christopher Lee base, and I'm impressed with this one as well. These gargoyles are individual, they're unique. Well, actually, I think there's 2 of them that are repeated. I'll take that back. Yeah, you've got one with horns, one without, and then they're alternated around the sides there, but on the top here, you've got some nice paint applications on here, what looks like some weathering and dry brushing in there to pick out the details. You've got this sort of Gothic stone effect floor going on. There's a peg hole there for the foot. Just one foot gets pegged in on both of these statues. So yeah, very nice. Very well done. Relatively simple. Nothing too fancy going on here. I know there's a propensity these days to have huge dioramas with statues, which is great, and I do like those. But sometimes they can detract from the statue itself. So I think this is relatively simple but very effective. Does add a lot of height as well. So if you're putting this in your display, you've got to take that into account. That it's really going to add some height to the actual statue itself. But yeah, very, very nicely done. Very atmospheric and very in keeping with the character. So yeah, we'll pop that to one side. What else do you get? There are two swap out arms. We'll have a quick look at those. First one here. These are all pegged on. I don't believe there's any. I think there may be a magnet in there. We will check this when we actually construct the statue itself. But yeah, possibly a magnet in there, but a square peg for the arm to fit into the body of the statue. And this is the hand holding the actual hammer and the stake itself. So what are we looking at? I'll try and get these into shot. Let's just bring this lighting round a little bit so we can pick out the details here. So yeah, it's a gloved hand. The sculpt on the glove is really nice. There's details of the stitching on the back there. There's creases in there. The paint applications are nice to give it that leather look. There's definitely some weathering on there if the camera's picking this up. I'll try and get this in a little bit closer. Hope the camera focuses properly on this. But yeah, there's some black detailing in there to give it that worn look. The stitch work is really, really nicely sculpted around the finger area there. And yeah, those creases are continued into the stitch work at the end of the glove. The hammer and stake itself are really, really nicely painted. The head of the hammer has got some weathering on there. There's silver dry brushing on there to give it that worn and used look. The paint applications on the stake are similar to the paint applications on the handle of the hammer itself, giving it that wood effect and that worn look. So yeah, overall, very, very nicely done, and we're off to a good start. That's very convincing and nicely done. So yeah, we'll just bring this light in a little bit more so we can make sure that we're getting all the details here. So that's the left hand. We'll put that to one side. You get this right hand as well. The right hand, which is holding the crucifix. Let's get this into shot. Pretty much the same story here as well. Square peg to go into the arm, and the same story with the glove. The same level of sculpt, really, really nice. Paint applications to make it look like leather, and the weathering there as well. And then a very, very simple silver cross held in the right hand. Not much, by the way, of paint applications on there, but there's one. I've just noticed this actually. It's not uniform entirely, that cross, which I actually like. If I can get that into shot, maybe you can see that the silver paint applications on the polystone here, and pretty much all of the statue itself is made of polystone, I believe. Although it is mixed media on the body, but we'll get to that. And so yeah, that's the right hand, nicely done. Let's take a look at the actual body itself. Let's get this out of the wrapping that it came in. Just bear with me. Now we may struggle to get all this in shot, so let's hope the camera can cope. So yeah, here's the body itself. First time out of the box, and straight away, yeah, it's looking rather nice. What you've got here, I'm going to have to keep this at this angle here. As I said, it's multimedia, so you've got this peg at the bottom here where it goes straight into the base itself. Then underneath that, we'll open this up. You've got the suit itself. It's a black suit. If you're spotting any marks or any bits and pieces on this, it's literally comes straight out of the box. So this will be because it's been in storage or in transit. So probably need a bit of a brief brush over before we put it into the display. But yeah, you've got this nice cotton suit. Feels the material here feels very similar to the Christopher Lee the statue. Very, very similar. So you've got a black suit. We'll try and get this over. Yeah, the stitch work in there is very good. You know me and my stitch work when we're looking at quarter or six scale figures or statues. I'm a stickler for the correct stitch work. This coat is a very, very nice. It feels. I'm assuming this is going to be a brushed cotton, but it has a sort of, how can I put this, sort of velvety feel to it, which is nice. The screen accuracy is most certainly there. Having revisited the film prior to shooting this review, and the outfit that he used in this, and some of the scenes were actually reused in the movie The Horror of Dracula, which is the one that Caustic Plastic are basing their 6-scale figures on. Just something worthy of note there. But yeah, the overcoat itself doesn't have working pockets. underneath, as I said, that black suit, very nicely tailored. Then you've got this red velvet waistcoat underneath, which, if I can get this into shot, is very, very nicely done. If I can open this up, yeah, we've got what looks like here. I'm not 100% certain what this is. This is a new one on me. There's a sort of loop coming out of one of the pockets. I'm not sure what that's for. If anybody out there knows, please please drop a comment in the comment section below. Not 100% certain what that is. But yeah, the screen accuracy's there. The materials are really nice. The cut of that suit looks spot on to me. Let's take a look at the back. Now, it is very, very nicely tailored. There are some creases in here. Obviously it's been sat in storage before getting to us, and it's picked up some what looks like white marks from. These are probably from the tissue paper it was wrapped in, and then the pressure that was placed on it when it's pushed inside the sealed polystyrene that it came in. But I'm pretty certain these creases will fall out and these marks will brush off relatively easily. The jacket looks really, really screen accurate. The coat rather looks really screen accurate. These creases and the way it falls at the back, this button belt section across the midriff. Let's take a look at this collar. Now, this collar is faux fur. Once again, very, very screen accurate. It looks fantastic, actually. It looks like they've nailed the screen accuracy 100% here. Moving up, we've got the tie, that's free floating. We've got a cotton shirt, and then obviously you've got the neck peg there for the head sculpt. So yeah, so far so good. This is looking very, very nice. The accuracy is on point. The materials are very, very good. And just overall, very, very nice work from Sideshow. So we'll put this to one side for a second, and we'll bring out the final piece, which is probably the most important piece, or one of the most important pieces, and that's the head sculpt itself. So just comes with the one head sculpt, this statue, and here it is. So now I will say from the get-go, I was a little bit concerned when I saw the initial photos of this piece. Not so much with the Christopher Lee, but I was a little bit concerned about the Cushing. What struck me in the initial photos was I got the impression that it was something a little bit comic book about it, if that makes sense. It didn't look... There was something off. But I'm going to put those thoughts and feelings to one side, and we're going to judge what's in front of us. Now, first impressions are very, very good. The sculpt itself is unmistakably Peter Cushing. The lines in the neck there are really nice. What they've done here, and we'll see this when we actually construct the statue itself, the whole thing. They've actually got him looking off to an angle, which explains the creases in this neck here, which I think really, really is a great pose. It adds some real depth to the statue itself. They've gone for hat-off look because, I mean, part of the movie, the early portions of the film, I believe he was wearing a hat, but that got discarded about halfway through. But overall, yeah, the sculpt is unmistakably Peter Cushing. The hair is nicely done. There's multiple paint applications in there. We've got some sort of browns and blacks going on, and there's a greying at the temples here, which is actually screen accurate as well. Not too pronounced because I mean, eventually Cushing would have a full head of hair, but back in '58 there was just a hint of that Malin streak at either side. But yeah, nice sculpt. Paintwork is pretty good. Could be slightly better. There's some bleed from the paint applications, the skin paint applications here into the hairline. So yeah, perhaps that could be slightly better. The paint applications around this hairline aren't the best, but overall, I think it's a very, very, very good sculpt. Those eyes are nice and glassy. That nose is on point. The eyebrows are really well done. That furrow at the top of the nose there. Just overall, very, very good. I would say there is ever such a touch of that cartoon element that I spoke about. Now, I think that's because we've got quite a wide-eyed look here. I think that's what it is. Now I've got it in hand. I suspect it's because they've gone for quite a wide-eyed look. But overall, I am very, very impressed. Is it 100%? No, no. Is it 90%? Most certainly. Yeah. I think if I had to be really, really picky, I would say that the paint applications overall on the face could be ever so slightly better. That bleed in the hairline isn't the best thing to see in the world, and just maybe those eyes could have been a little bit more closed to take away that cartoony effect. But I am being exceptionally nitpicky here. So yeah, there you have it. That is the Peter Cushing sculpt for our 1/4 scale Van Helsing statue. So that's all the bits and pieces. So what we'll do next is, off camera, we will construct this whole thing, take a look at how he looks when he's all put together. It'll be final thoughts and then over to the showcase. So without further ado, cut to the complete construction. Okay, so here he is. It's Van Helsing himself, Mr. Peter Cushing, fully constructed onto the base and ready to go. And I have to say, once fully constructed, I really am quite impressed with this statue. I love the Christopher Lee that Sideshow did, and I'm so glad that I made the decision to give in to my OCD and get the pair of them. I think I would forever have regretted every time I looked at the other quarter scale statue shelf not having this next to Christopher Lee. So yeah. Final thoughts on this one. Well, let's have a quick look round him, fully constructed, because I think it makes a lot more sense, particularly that head sculpt, which I had my misgivings about, but now it's actually on the rest of the statue. It makes a lot more sense. It really does. We'll start with the pose that they've gone for. I really do like this pose. I think they've made a great decision in the choice of pose here. Clutching the cross in the right hand, the stake and the hammer in the left hand, and having that head sculpt off to one side, looking sort of into the middle distance with that. And I'll turn it a little bit here so you can see this. With that stoicism and that steely determination, it really, really makes sense. And as you can probably tell here, and which will probably become more apparent in the showcase as well, is that head sculpt actually makes it, as I said, makes more sense when it's actually on the rest of the statue itself, and it loses that cartoony comic book look that was worrying me. Yes, the paint applications on that head sculpt could be better, but I think the sculpt is really, really good. I think really it's the only thing that maybe lets this statue down is the paint applications on the head sculpt. But we'll come to an overall score. We'll start at the bottom. Base, absolutely excellent. Very, very gothic. It grounds the figure. It places the figure and is suitably eerie. But not overdone. I do like it, and it will match well with the Lee figure, as you'll see in the showcase. The materials they've used here are fantastic. The screen accuracy is on point. This jacket, this coat will need a bit of cleaning up. It is one of those, it's that type of material that's a fingerprint magnet. If you put any pressure on it, it tends to show a white marker. Probably really should have done this with gloves, but it's relatively easy to clean up. Just a medium brush on here, possibly a paintbrush or something like that will actually, it's more the nap, the rub of the material itself, but I don't know if the camera's picking that up, but there's just a few little marks there, but they'll brush out very, very easily, and the creases themselves will fall out over time. The materials they've used are fantastic. This overcoat is lined really nicely. It falls really well and just feels really tactile in the hand. The suit itself, screen accurate, on point, cut really, really well. The eagle-eyed amongst you may notice they're giving him a slight paunch, which actually works. I think it's probably just the way he's stood. If I bring it round, you might be able to see that. There is a slight paunch there. Now, I did revisit the film prior to shooting this, didn't notice that, but it fits proportionally. It does. So there's a slight bulge there around the waist area of the waistcoat, but it fits. It works. As I said, the materials they've used here are great. We'll spin him round. Can't get him on a turntable. He would destroy the turntable, just the sheer weight of it. I may have to invest in a heavy-duty turntable if we're going to be doing more of these statues. But yeah, around the back, yeah, these creases as I say, will fall out, might possibly benefit from a pressing, but yeah, that coat is really, really nicely stitched. The outfit is on point. The screen accuracy is on point. Loving the pose. And as I say, that head sculpt makes sense now. It's actually on top of the statue itself. Even down to the gap here between the tie and the top of the shirt. And that is 100% screen accurate. It is. There was that was how they wore them in that era, with a slight drop there. But yeah, the faux fur on the coat is 100% spot on color wise and screen accurate, as is the color of the waistcoat. And yeah, just overall a fantastic piece. I am really, really happy, as I say, that I got off the fence and decided to jump in before this thing was only available on eBay and commanding ridiculous prices. So yeah, there you have it. That is Peter Cushing, aka Professor Van Helsing, from the 1958 movie Dracula, courtesy of Sideshow Collectibles. Score out of 10. Oh, this is a difficult one. I'm going to go a 9. Maybe a 9.5. No, I'm going to go a 9. The only thing that is pushing me away from a 10 are the paint applications on that head sculpt. They could be slightly better. It's not the actual sculpt itself. Now I've got this in hand. It's not the sculpt. That cartoony fear that I had has gone out the window. This is just the paint applications. They could have been ever so slightly better around that hairline. So maybe a 9, a 9.5. But overall, an absolutely stunning piece. A really, really nice piece. And as a companion piece to the Christopher Lee, the 58 Christopher Lee, I'm just super stoked to have it in the collection. So yeah, there you have it. That's the finished product. Worth mentioning at this point as well, the only issue I did come across when putting this together was the foot peg here, which inserts into the base. Didn't really cooperate. I think the hole was slightly too small, so it took some finagling to get it in, but not a major issue. Overall, yeah, fantastic piece, amazing quality, and a 9, a 9.5 there for Sideshow Collectibles, and yeah, just as I say, very, very happy to have it in the collection. So that about wraps it up for this review. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope it's been useful. Do you have this piece in your collection? If you do, please pop a comment in the comment section below. If you don't have it in your collection, put a comment in the comment section below. I'd be fascinated to hear your take on this. Is it Cushing for you? If that's an expression. But yeah, please pop a comment in the comment section below. Put a like on the video, share the video. As I mentioned at the top there, it's your subscriptions that keep us going. So please like, comment, subscribe, and support us what we're doing here at Go Figure. And hopefully we can continue to do more of it. So yeah, there you have it, Peter Cushing. So I suppose all that remains for me to say is thank you for watching. Take care of yourselves as always. Happy collecting, and it's over to the showcase. Okay, just before we go over to the showcase, I very nearly forgot what's coming up on the channel, and we don't want to miss that section. So yeah, in the quarter scale statue world, we have the Blitzway and Prime 1 Studios Paul Atreides Still Suit Edition. In the 1/6 scale world, we have the Redmond Toys Dracula Blue. That's the Gary Oldman version from Bram Stoker's Dracula. That's the reissue, the 2.0. Also in the 6 scale world, we've got Blitzway's Astro Boy. That's coming in pretty soon. The VTS Cloud Strife from Final Fantasy VII, the remix of that. Obviously, the Caustic Plastic Horror Dracula Deluxe Edition. Hopefully that, fingers crossed, will be with us shortly. In arts, the Batman. We've got Present Toys Anton Chigurh from No Country for Old Men. All Toys Duke Leto from June, the 6 scale version. We've got the Doof from Mad Max Fury Road. What else have we got? Premier Toys Interstellar. And also a load of 12 scale stuff as well that we're going to be taking a look at. We're going to be looking at a lot of the NECA American Werewolf stuff to coincide with their release of the Jack and David figures. some Terminator stuff, some Predator stuff, and a lot of retro reviews. So yeah, a hell of a lot of stuff on the horizon. So as I mentioned before, if you haven't already, if you don't want to miss any of that, please hit the subscribe button, hit that bell notification icon. And for the second time of asking, it's over to the show.